hands, who's had a chance to demo Holoseat ever?
My legs are still sore from this morning.
Who's demoed Holoseat this year?
That's my first one.
All right, cool. Okay, so this has become an annual tradition for us to bring Holoseat to you guys at SyndCon, show it off, get your feedback and things like that. So we do an annual development update, and for 2017, this presentation is better known as good news, everyone! Holoseat's back at SyndCon!
All right.
Woo!
What's the second half? What's the terrible news?
all right, so,
No.
okay, settle down.
Terrible news. You can't take one home.
Hold that thought. 3 years ago, we brought you guys version 0.2.
Ugh.
Yeah, this is the first public demonstration
No, this
of
is not the
Holoseat.
one that was brought. This was his copy, because we brought my elliptical.
We brought both. We brought that.
Right, but
Yeah.
we left it in a box.
Oh yeah. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty, but it made a splash at con, right? Everyone went, this is kind of cool, guys. And last year, we brought you version 0.3, right? Featuring refined electronics, integrated with high-quality exercise equipment, as opposed to the not-so-nice thing that we brought you a couple years ago. And notice, that was 3 years, and last year, we learned a very important lesson that year in the middle, which was always bring Holoseat to SyndCon. We got so much harassment about, aren't you a Holoseat guys? Yeah, where is it? That was the conversation with everyone in Vegas. Like, we learned our lesson, got it, Holoseat comes to con. Like, I think people look forward to seeing Holoseat more than me. I don't know. Just
Possible.
saying. All right, possible, very possible. And this year, we want to share with you a version zeroing in on production design with dramatically improved response times. For those of you that have tested it more than 1 year, you know what I'm talking about. For better gameplay and flexible pedal speed that automatically adjusts to your fitness level and play style. Version 0.4. This is the last major development version before we go to 1.0. All right? I'm Jay, aka Eshazor. That's Brian, aka Arathon. We're the co-developers of Holoseat, and slowly but surely, this is going from a labor of love / hobby to a real business. I think you guys also see a lot of our signage. We're in regalia and all that, right? Yes, swag. Show off the swag if you're wearing it, right? I come from a maker and engineering background. Brian comes from an IT and maker background, and we've been developing this remotely across the country, depending on where we live, for the last several years. We're very excited about where we're at this year. Okay, so what do I mean by zeroing in on production design? Let's take a little bit of a closer look at version 0.4. So first of all, it's all one unit. Right? If you look at those other pictures, there's dangly bits. One of them used to be a soap dish. Right?
Well,
and
there's the toothbrush holder the next time.
Yeah, we had a bathroom theme in casing for a while. Right? So, but now it's all one unit, right? There's no dangly bits. This is all one thing. Next, integrated electronics. Okay? So we have a control box, brand new sensor, everything's starting to come together.
Black duct tape.
The gaff tape is temporary. The sensor, I got my hands on the sensor like 3 weeks ago. Like, brand new case for the electronics, no more soap dish.
It covers the logo.
Right? I'm getting there. We're getting there. And a brand new sensor that is all, I mean, gaff tape aside, it's all tightly integrated. There's no, again, no dangly bits, right? And it's ready to use out of the box, right? I mean, this is all, when we got here, we just plugged it in and went, right? We had to do shipping things, so that was kind of a pain. But in terms of the device itself, it's just ready to go. And what do I mean by dramatically improved response times? Let's take a look at a demo video I put together to look at how long it took to trigger walking in version 0.3 versus what it takes now in version 0.4. So we'll start with version 0.3. This is my lab space back in DC. This is where I did all my development and testing work. We'll start with version 0.3. Portal is our game of testing. You see, kind of okay, you start walking, you start pedaling, you get going a second or so later. You stop pedaling, and again, about a second or so later, you stop walking. This was last year's, right? Let's look at this year's version. Same demo. Pedaling and walking are almost simultaneous now. It's even more dramatic on the stop and stop. How about that? Right?
I can personally say from the experiences I had with the previous version, elevators will no longer be my worst enemy
In Star Wars: The Old Republic, yes. I've fallen off many a platform and elevator in Old Republic because I was always playing with older versions of Holoseat and misguessed my time to stop. So, all right. Now let's talk about pedal speed. Okay, so remember I said the two big improvements, or three big improvements, right? We were talking about the business about the production. We're moving towards production quality, not all the way there yet, right? Then it's the responsiveness, and this last piece is how fast do I have to pedal to make it do things, right? And if you guys remember, anyone that tested last year, there was a fixed speed, and we'd often have to work with you to figure out what your speed was for pedaling, right? So we'd often take the first 3 minutes of demo and be like, hold on, okay, and then you were kind of okay, right? Now, what we're talking about is pedal speed that automatically adapts based on how you're playing, right? Which includes your fitness level and capacity and all that. So what does that look like? Well, if you're sneaky, and you're pedaling really slow, every tick of the wheel, and there are 12 ticks currently per revolution, is a single step. And this is just automatic. It just knows that you're pedaling really slow, and it says, one step at a time, please. Whereas if you're just kind of casually pedaling, walking might be triggered at, say, 50 RPM, right? You're just kind of bopping along, and it sees you're bopping along. It's like, okay, cool. As long as we're over 50, we're walking. No big deal. And of course, if it's OMG, I'm gonna die, you're really running, right? You may be going 125 RPM to save your life, right? Because you just can't help it. The adrenaline's going, that's cool. Greater than 125 is now the trigger speed. And the important part about this is when you drop below those speeds, you stop if you've actually stopped pedaling. Whereas when there was one rate, if you were set at 60 and you went to 120, there's a lot of time before you find 60, before it figures out that you've slowed down, right? Now, that's part of the reason it's so instant, is it's also keeping up with what you're doing. And if you're just slowing down pedaling, it just moves the bar back down. So when you've gotten away from the giant ogre and you're just back to cruising mode, it knows you're just cruising, right? And all of this is automatic. And it works in both forward and reverse. Right? So if that ogre business is back up, it does the same thing, no matter which direction you're going. So I want to tell you about a pattern that we've noticed. We noticed two patterns. Told you about one of them already. We should always bring Holoseat to con, right? And the other one is we've noticed that a lot of you guys have kind of this attitude. All right.
We can stop that if you don't like that.
No. In fact, I'm very, very happy to give you additional good news. As of now, we're going to start taking pre-orders for a very, very limited alpha test of version 0.4. Thank you.
So in the alpha test, do we have to have our own
Duct tape.
No. So here's the deal. This is the prototype leading up to 04, right? And I'm going to tell you more about the details of what's on the roadmap to get to 04 and to get to 1.0. But rest assured, the vision of take it out of the box, plug it into your computer, and start playing is what the alpha testers will see. Okay? Now, Our official target number when we got here is 5. Okay? There is some headroom above that. All right? So, but we're still going to have a fairly limited number. Okay? That number is partly going to be dependent on how many people approach us and sign up for the application, right? And things like that. Okay? But at least 5 folks. We'll get there. Promise. Promise. All right. But we'll start taking applications over a Google form, right? And before the weekend is over, we will determine how many alpha testers we can take. We will reach out to those alpha testers. We will ask for a deposit. Okay.
Which is the deposit.
Deposit is $65.
That's it?
That's a deposit. It's a non-refundable deposit. Yes, I know. Shut up and take my money. Yeah, I know. Shut up and take my money, Ash. You have to apply and get selected. There's not enough for everyone who wants one necessarily to get one. But at least 5, possibly more. Believe me, I know it's going to be more than 5.
4 in the first row.
I know. Believe me. Okay? Why such a small number? Okay? Right? This is still our evening gig. Okay? We are going to be assembling the alpha test units ourselves. We want to make sure that they are really ready for you. There's another round of internal development so that there's no more gapping. Right?
Yeah.
I'm alright with the black tape.
I hear you. I hear you. But we are not, because we want you guys to be testing what we're really trying to deliver. Okay? And we're not going to deliver gapping. Just saying.
Well, I'll put mine
All right, and the hold on. There's another reason for small numbers, right? And that's because we're going to ask you guys to do more than just play the games with it, okay? And that's because one of the biggest reasons we've made it here where we are today is because you guys are great at giving awesome feedback. And of course, we knew that already from being Syndies. We watched all the game developers get awesome feedback from the Syndies, right? You guys have given us awesome feedback at every con. Yes.
Whenever we're testing this, can we play it on the games that we like?
Please, that's the plan.
Okay.
You said
Stroud.
WASD.
Well, yeah, that I understand.
Yeah. I'm not gonna.
I went to download Shroud earlier and I said, no, you can't.
Not at con. Not. Hold on just a second. Guys,
So-
hold on. The alpha test, you play. I want you to play your games because we want to see it work with as many games as possible. The demo in the hall is different because I need to churn everyone through who wants to play.
I understand.
Right? But alpha testers should test their games. Absolutely.
Perfect.
All right. So we're looking for you guys to essentially join the dev team as real testers. Okay. So we're gonna ask some stuff of you guys. Okay. So what are we asking from you guys as participants? The down payment of, Jay forgot to insert the value, $65. We already covered that one. We're asking you guys to play games with Holoseat at least twice a week.
That's not so.
Believe me, I don't think that's an issue, but to be clear, there's a contract that says this stuff too, and if you guys don't live up to it, we reserve the right to pull the Holoseat back from you and give it to the next person in line who says they will do the things we asked. I just want you guys to know. Easy thing, this is not hard. We set this price point to be not hard. Now you still have to pay more money before you get delivery, but this lets us get going twice a week. I don't think anyone in this group, aside from me at this point who's too busy building Holoseats to play games anymore, is not going to live up to that.
I'm always waiting for rings and getting it.
When we give you guys updates, both software and hardware, we expect you guys to implement them in a timely manner. Okay? We're going to minimize the opportunity for hardware updates to require soldering. It's part of the reason we're doing another rev is to do that minimization. If we need to do something you're not comfortable with as part of a hardware upgrade, we are happy to have you guys ship it back to us at your cost. We'll do the upgrade for you and then ship it back to you at cost.
Where
Okay.
do you live in DC?
DC, Blacksburg, Virginia.
Gotta apply that new tape.
All right? Fair enough? Okay. But mostly it's going to be open up and switch components, switch press fit components out. We're going to make it as easy as possible. And of course, all that lovely feedback that you guys are so good at providing, we're going to ask you to provide through surveys like the ones you've been taking. We'll ask different sets of questions over the course of testing. We'll ask you to post things over the forums on our project portal page on a website called Open Design Engine, and we're going to have a Discord channel for you guys. Woo, yeah. And then we also ask that you follow, engage with on social media. One of the things that we're looking to do down the road is crowdfunding, right? And one of the keys to that is having a good footprint on social media. So we need you guys to help us, we need feedback, and we need you guys to help us expand our footprint. Brian and I are two guys. You guys are the guild, right? Cool?
Yeah.
All right. Which also includes talking it up on social media. So connect with us so our account gets presence, our accounts get presence, and then talk it up so that other people see what's going on, so that we build
Would you
inertia.
consider moving to Wyoming?
I don't think his day job will allow it.
Nah, no,
Just put it
definitely.
out.
All right. Quid pro quo. Not going to ask you to do stuff, right, without doing stuff in return. All right. And just so you know, Brian and I will commit to, as alpha testers with you guys, we're going to do all the same stuff. We're going to take the same surveys. We're going to play the same mounts. To finally get back on the games and all that, right? We're going to do all the same thing. But in addition, this is what we're doing for the testers. You're going to get a deep discount on the Holoseat prototype. We're trying to get this, we're very close to cost because we want you guys to get engaged with us, okay? This will be way lower than what the consumer version of this would be. You have access to the Discord channel, and over that channel, in addition to being able to get support and stuff like that, we'll be chatting among ourselves. We'll use that channel as a medium for internal dialogue, so you can, look over our shoulders as we do development work. And that will start from the moment we secure who the testers are and set up that channel and get you in the channel. We'll move some of our dialogue over there. So even while the units are in development, you'll see what's going on. Right? You can contact us directly and say, hey, what about? Of course, you're going to get technical and customer support. We're going to provide that over the Discord channel and over the public forums for the project on Open Design Engine. And within limitations, you're going to get free updates both on the hardware and software between now and version 1.0. Not going to ship you 1.0 boards. What we will do is ship you any physical updates that are required so that you have the same capability as the 1.0 stuff. Does that make sense? Plus yours will have the cool "It's an Alpha" logo on it, right? So you guys will know that. Everyone know you had the first ones, right?
Yeah, in terms of our solution for like the solder fixes, for things like that, if we have component adjustments, the way we're actually doing it, what we currently use for a controller is, it's made by a company called Adafruit. It's a feather, and it has.
I'm going to show. There's.
You got some pictures.
I've seen schematics and stuff.
Okay. So the way that it had.
Speaking of.
Yeah. So here's the.
I know it.
Okay, so what Brian is referring to.
What I'm referring to is this chip here.
Yeah.
So what we're doing with that, it has the ability to stick some headers on the side, so can take pins coming down into it. And we're basically going to put all the other electronics on a circuit board above it, and you just plug it in. And if we have a circuit update, we're going to ship you a new board that you just plug in. Pull the old one, plug in the new one, you're done.
Sound good?
Sure.
All right.
That's pretty easy.
A RAM card.
Yeah, it's like an old school RAM upgrade if you ever did it.
Yeah,
back then.
exactly.
RAM still had pins.
So, any questions about the Alpha? All right, cool. So I have some fair warning. Who is going to be signing up for the Alpha when I show you the URLs? Okay, cool. All right, cool.
I don't have my smartphone on me.
It's all good. It's all good. We're gonna have that over at the LAN room, so that we can, graciously get out of the way for the next presentation. But we'll.
Was that the tester thing in that?
No, but it rolls. It's partly, but not all. All right. So let's take a look underneath the hood. Speaking of the electronics, let's take a peek underneath the hood at the improvements in version 04 that let us do that improved response times and automatic pedal pedal gauges. So we brought version 03 to you guys last year, right? And the big upgrades that year were we switched to a pair of sensors called Hall effect sensors, which allow us to more reliably detect magnetic fields, which we know you're pedaling because a magnet passes the sensor, right? And we used 2 of those sensors so that we could time the difference and tell are you pedaling forward or reverse, right? But we still only had 1 magnet in the detection loop, right? So we could only tell things were happening once per revolution. The faster you pedaled, the more often we got updates, but in 04, there's the sensor.
It's really, really, really hard to see.
You can't, it's
If
very
you actually look at it, there's a little black speck right there that is the sensor.
And that sensor is called a wheel speed sensor. I'll tell you more about those in a moment. But the thing to know right now is inside of that little sensor is a pair of Hall effect sensors already wired up to do what we were doing by hand last year with our 2 separate sensors. When it's married up to something called a speed wheel or a tone ring, which is this disc with lots of magnets on it, so that we can get more updates per revolution. All right? So, what is a wheel speed sensor? It's actually a piece of silicon built for automotive stuff, among other things. So, in your anti-lock brakes, there are probably wheel speed sensors, like including possibly the exact model we're using in Holoseat. Okay? One of the really cool things about doing that, not only do we get an all-in-one package that does what we were doing the hard way last year, right? But its sensitivity is way higher than what we're using it for, right? This is being used to tell whether or not to control your anti-lock brakes, for crying out loud, right? It's very, very sensitive in your car, which means, and that sensitivity is a combination of the sensor's capability and your speed wheel or your tone ring, right? So from a sensor capability, we are way underutilizing our sensor because our speed wheel only has 12 poles in it, right? So if it turns out from testing this weekend, right, that we need more poles, we have lots of room to grow in sensitivity in this thing. We can easily go beyond what humans can feel, right? Because it's a sensor built for a car doing complex car things, right? So that's the piece that lets our sensitivity, that enable that sensitivity, that really improved response time, right? And it can only get better, right? We can just dial it up if we need to. Yeah, okay, now, so let's talk about what we need to do in order to get to 1.0, right? So, the first step is producing the official alpha, which was the final version of 04. This is the last prototype design. As Brian said, it's going to be based on Adafruit Feather, right? We'll finalize the speed wheel, so if we need to adjust sensitivity, we're going to do our best to get that adjustment made before the alphas ship. Our parts are going to continue to be 3D printed, so that plastic housing there is actually 3D printed. The wheel is 3D printed, right? So those parts will continue to be 3D printed because the number of units we're producing is small enough that that's the better plan, right? And then we're going to release a new desktop app because there's new features in the hardware, so we need a new app to go along with those new features to provide access to those features. After that is version 09, our beta. Maybe a year from now. Don't know yet. Depends on how things go between now and then. I would really love to bring the first beta builds to you guys next year. We'll see. Cross your fingers. This is really 1.0. It's the 1.0 design. First time though going through formal production processes, right? Manufactured PCBs. Injected molded plastic, logos, all the things that are going to go into the 1.0. Basically, it's our chance to test drive the processes and the finalized design, right? There'll be a round of beta test, which will be far larger than the alpha test, right? So measuring in single or double digits for the alpha, measuring in 3 digits for sure in the beta. this will also be the first time that we'll ship formal, full documentation, right? Because we're locking in on design. And then after that, version 1.0, full release, final packaging, big crowdsource campaign, right? Support for all the PC platforms people game on, Windows, Linux, and Mac, and unified installers. So there's, you get it, you download one thing, you go and you play, right? During the alpha and the beta, there might still be, like, it might be run this installer and then that installer, right? The idea is get it down to final consideration no later than the 1 release. All right? So Brian and I are working as fast as we can to get Holoseat to market, right? We want to get to 1.0 as soon as possible, because what we want to see is all of us be able to use gaming to improve our fitness, right? But we can't do that we can't do it alone. We need your all's help, right? So I want to show you a few ways that you guys can directly engage with us and with the larger gaming community to help us get things to market faster, okay? First is what you guys are excellent at. Give us feedback. While we're at con this week, come demo Holoseat. Making sure to take the survey after. I don't get credit for your demo if I don't have a survey result.
Done.
Once you get home, join the alpha test. Talked about it requires getting into the test and a down payment before you leave, but there you go. Help us spread the word. While you're at con, tell everyone about Holoseat.
Have you guys heard about Holoseat?
I am for serious when I say, let's see if we can get every Syndy that's at con this year to sit down and pedal and try Holoseat out.
Is Holoseat in UO?
It's not. No.
Now, the problem is point and click. Doesn't, not a keyboard thing.
Yeah.
All right.
It was a breakfast joke.
Okay.
To understand that exchange.
Yeah, clearly. All right. When you go back home, join us on social media, right? Sign up for our mailing list, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. We're going to expand social media presence, and when that happens, go to all the new ones, right? Lastly, volunteer. While you're at con, please help us run demos. There's only 2 of us right now, right? And we want to go do things like the Portalarium tour and stuff like that. We want to actually eat not at the land boot hall, right? Little things like that. But we also want to keep the demos running all the time. We have scripts, don't we?
Yeah, there are absolutely scripts. Thank you for trying all of them.
So we give you everything you need. And even 20 minutes is 20 minutes one of us or both of us can step away and take care of something that's not running demos. Cool? And then when you get home, become a part of the team, right? I mean, obviously the alpha testers are already going to be a part of the team, but we're doing a lot of programming of the desktop app in Python. So if you know Python or want to learn Python, you can help with coding. We need help with marketing and social media because Brian and I are 2 of the biggest introverts you'll ever meet, says the guy standing in front of the group.
That's a small group.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, for those that are into the social media or into marketing and things like that, please reach out to us. That's a way that you can be a huge help to us because it's not our thing. And there's a lot of other stuff, right? It's a full-fledged business, and it's 2 of us working on our side, on the side time that we have, and everything that, all this looks like drag to the technical development, right? It's all absolutely essential to the business, but it's a drag on technical development. The less drag there is on technical development, the faster we get products out. All right, long live the syndicate.
Yay.
Questions?
Has Dee tried it yet?
Not this year. He's tried it other years. And I have every confidence he'll show up when things settle down a little bit. That's what happened last year.
Good luck getting him to sit down.
Yes.
So I noticed that the device currently goes forward and backwards.
Yep.
Is there, I guess, plans or ambitions to make it more accesses or more directions?
Not at this point, because our piece of it is to unify existing exercise equipment into video games, right? That would require us getting into the exercise equipment game. And honestly, we're not mechanical engineers. I'm a rocket scientist and a systems engineer, and I've been a programmer and I'm a maker. The amount of stuff necessary to do a competitive product with that mechanically is way outside my expertise. Now, if someone had the expertise and wanted to tinker with that and present us with a solution, right, I'm happy to talk about that, for what it's worth. I think I had a question over here.
Not a question so much as you should have your alpha testers document if they have any weight loss. Only for
It's going to be
future-
part of the survey.
Future
Yep.
marketing.
Yep, absolutely. That
aspects
will
of
be
it.
part of the surveys, is we're
Okay.
gonna ask people to report within their limits of comfort, how they're doing on that, how much time they're actually using it, what games they're playing, all that kind of stuff. Because we want to be able to claim the alpha testers lost a collective,
Right.
how many hundreds of pounds, right?
Do before and after like profile.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff like that.
Very marketing.
Yes, you're right on the spot.
Results not typical.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, what's the?
These are syndicate members and they are not your typical human beings.
Not your typical gamer.
Not your typical
Doing
gamer.
this,
Yeah.
doing this
What
may affect you
crazy guy
differently
during the
than
alpha
doing
lost
this
like
and
200
eating a
pounds.
pizza.
Results may vary.
Results
depending on
may
time,
vary,
weight.
yeah.
And size of pizza you eat.
Yes. Other questions?
Got a picture of yourself going.
So how opposed are you guys to like after-market
24 pack of beer.
alterations? Like say to the pedals, if you wanted to switch the pedals out for some other pedal?
So that's a great question. So a couple of things about that. First of all, for those that don't know, we're open source hardware. And if you know what open source software is, this is the exact same idea, but about physically instantiated objects. You can go to our project page on Open Design Engine, which is available. You can get there, dev.holoseat.com. You can download all the instructions to build one of your own without us. And so we actually encourage modifications. Now, if the alpha testers, in doing modifications, make something stop working, we'll help where we can to get it back to working. But we reserve the right to say, you're going to have to ship it back to us, and if it costs us more materials, we're going to ask for that before we fix it.
I'm thinking like straps to hold your
Yeah,
feet
no.
on.
Well, we actually took the straps off because we prefer it without the straps, but yes, you can do any modification you want. We ask that you share it with us, so we can share it we can either adopt it or share it with other people. And like I said, if there's any kind of glitch, we're going to do our best to make things right, but it won't necessarily be free.
And put it on a rocker so you can get
Yeah.
like a right and left switch going.
That, if you figure that out, by all means, we want to hear about it because we want to consider it for our adoption of the product. Absolutely.
Because you want the A and D too, right?
Yeah, I hear you. Yes. And then over here.
For the alpha, are you shipping a full bike thing or is it?
So what we will do is the $65 covers our ability to produce the stuff that's not the bike.
Okay.
We will then assemble that and get everything lined up. We'll then ping the alpha group and say, we're ready to get you bikes. You owe us this much more for us to acquire the bikes and ship the whole thing to you. Okay? And then we will do the final assembly, put them back in their boxes, and ship them out to you. You will get a whole piece of equipment, but not at $65.
So Brian, give me the money now?
Since you wouldn't take it earlier?
Huh?
Timeline?
Our hope, but we're still doing the planning for this because we just barely made the con alive, is to get the units, if at all possible, out to people by Christmas. We feel that is a doable thing if we keep the number of units within reason, right? So when we restrict access, that's partly why.
Now we'll
So
say,
would you consider, like, when you get your initial 7 out,
Or whatever it is, yeah.
then, or 5, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever it is, then you say, okay, we're ready, we can have some more?
What we would rather do is turn towards the beta.
Okay.
Because the beta is what we really need to get to as quickly as possible. So we want to get a limited number of alphas out to verify that we don't have any kinks that we haven't found. Verify that when people play games that we don't play, that it really does work as advertised for all the games we expect it to. Right? All that kind of stuff. As we want to get through that process as quickly as possible, so we turn to the beta sooner, so that next year I can come and say, we're opening far larger numbers for beta testing, right? Did you have a question?
Will it work with different exercise underneath the desk? Like, we had elliptical the first year. Will it work with, different?
All of the design work we've done continues to be portable across equipment. I don't expect the alphas to go across equipment. I expect the alphas will be locked onto this. This is, of all the units we've had, the most reliable, the best bang for buck on the price, right? And high quality product.
And I'll say, because I actually prefer the elliptical, and that's what I typically still use at home. My elliptical is on par with this. It's about double the price.
So how do you play with
It's an under-desk elliptical. It's
another
Just-
desk?
Yeah, it's the
Yes.
same idea, only elliptical motion instead of rotary motion.
yeah.
They make them, bizarrely enough.
The primary factor in terms of whether we're compatible or not actually really comes down to how much do they build this like a bike at this point. Because what we've done, first off, learned a lot about bikes in the process of trying to figure this out.
A lot.
Quite a lot, because first, unsurprisingly, exercise bikes and real bikes have a lot in common. But the other thing that I learned is that there's really only two types of crank pegs used on bikes.
And that's the part where the
And that's the
legs-
part where this is attached to, that this is fitted on. It's there's a 14 millimeter square post. And then there's another one, and I can't remember the name of it for the life of me right now. It's really weirdly shaped, and it's intended for like more extreme situations. If you're mountain biking, if it's that type of stuff. Basically, if you're gonna be stressing it a lot, you would want the other type.
Right.
Exercise equipment is never made with the other type as far as I can tell. For some reason, they're just not expecting you to abuse it like you would a mountain bike.
Go figure.
So as such, if it's got that 14 millimeter square peg for those crank arms, if you can pop it off and fit our ring behind it, it's gonna work.
You could make it work. The difference for us is really about what makes sense to offer on the primary market.
And like I was saying, the elliptical is just so much more expensive. It's just not worth it for this test.
Yeah. That unit I think is around 35 pounds or so.
27.
27? 27. 27.
It's lost weight.
It has. That's what happens when people use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it actually weighs in 35 in the crate.
I thought we were 42.
Was it 42?
I think we were 42.
Yeah, that's right, it was 42. So anyway.
Thank you.
Okay, so for those that want to do alpha tests, we're gonna put a shortcut on the demo machines in the LAN room for Holoseat that takes you to the form to apply, because it's an application process. I don't want to let people all have a chance to tell us who wants to join in, right? And we're gonna look at what is your presence on social media. We'll talk to other folks. We'll look at how we've interacted with you. We'll talk to folks in the guild about who's had a lot of testing experience, things like that, because we want to make sure that this limited number of people are in a position. I hear ya.
You'll make your choice at the end of the day.
All right.
It's up to us to market ourselves
Yes,
in such a manner that if we really want to do it.
Yes.
But I can say, I work out with the Dallas Cowboys, so I can
What?
the team on the Holoseat.
No, that just wouldn't work because we all know that the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, there's just no reason to even talk about that.
The company I work for has a deal with the New York Giants. I mean,
I liked you until that comment.
Any other questions? All right, thank you guys for being so supportive over the years. We're really, really excited to get these guys in your all's hands. Please come apply, and I promise, if at all possible, by the end of con, we'll collect money and have the official list certified and ready to go. And then get you guys alpha units as quickly as possible.
yeah.